His grandmother, Sylvia Bishop, was the first black woman to be licensed as a thoroughbred trainer in the United States. Her name was Sylvia Bishop. There's a race in her memory each year at Charlestown Races coming up in just a week or so. Mike Jones Jr. going to join us shortly here on Midlantic Racing Today, powered by the Racing Biz, the racingbiz.com. This is Charlestown Races Today, presented by our friends at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. My name's Frank Vespi. A little bit later, I'm going to be talking with Ted Black as we look ahead to the Robert Levitt Memorial Stakes coming up Saturday at Charlestown and kind of catch up on what else is going on at Charlestown Races. But here, without further ado, here's Ted talking with Mike Jones Jr.
Hi, Mike. How have you been, first of all?
I've been fine. And you?
Good. Thanks. Busy week for you. One thing I wanted the viewers and the audience to grasp was, how you got started in the game and, what it's been like going from, a pretty small operation to having a decent amount of horses now, Mike.
Got started, my family, that's how we was in the horse business, training race horses. So my grandmother, I used to go to track with her a lot and along with my uncles and the rest of the family. So I just followed, had a passion for it, just kept following their footsteps, and I wanted to be a trainer. So that's what I just continued with that and worked on my craft, and that's where I'm at today.
Along the way, Mike, who was kind of the most influential among your family members? Who was kind of the most influential on you as far as, how to approach the business, from training to interacting with owners, jockeys, agents, everyone you have to interact with? Who kind of gave you the most guidance along the way, Michael?
I'd say my grandmother did. With interacting with owners and just everything about a horse, I picked up from her and how to do things the right way and going, forward, just to keep the business rolling and try to get, have decent horses in the barn and have good owners. And I'd say I got most of my influence came from her.
Okay. Talk about the beginnings. 2014, I believe, got your license and saddled your first winner. Imagine back then, even only 12 years ago, that, now in 2026, you have over 350 winners and won stakes races, and, you ship horses to a number of different tracks to compete, other than just racing at Charlestown, Mike.
I didn't believe I'd have this many horses, but it's been a long road, not having I would say the owners at first starting off, it was hard to get good clientele, people that really want to give you good horses and give you a chance to claim some nice horses for them and put them in good spots and kind of be aggressive and try to win races. But I look back, I've come a long ways, I thank for the support I had, the people that was around me.
Yeah. Do you recall your very first winner, Mike? It was in 2014. Like I said, I know you've had about 350 winners since then, but do you remember your first winner, and how important was that to kind of jump starting your career at the time?
I believe it was a horse. We need some type of drink. Carlos Castro rode it, I know. And it's like I ran had like 12 seconds before I won a race. I just couldn't get that monkey off my back, but I finally did. And then after that, it was a little relief, but it's been a while. I can't remember his name, but I know Carlos Castro rode it from me.
And then since then, obviously, about 350 winners since, a couple of years, right around 65, 75 winners during a year. What's it like, getting new clients, success obviously breed success, Mike, and you start winning races, and now you don't have as much trouble getting clients, right? I mean, they're coming to you to buy horses, breed horses, claim horses. What's that been like, especially the last 5 years?
It's been good. It's just shows people they put their trust in you, and to find them a decent horse, and they give you a chance to have better horses to train, and especially with breeding horses. If you really want to get lucky, you got to get a young horse. Babies, and develop them, and hopefully they pan out for you. But you get lucky. You got to get lucky for sure. But if you get you get your hands on a few nice ones every now and then, and they turn out for you.
Yeah, obviously you've made a number of savvy claims over the years, Mike. But I think one horse that to this point kind of defined your career has been Little Ruru, that you own and train. Just had a superb 3-year-old season a few years ago. Won 3 straight stake races. And just looked like the sky was the limit for him. How important was that? How rewarding was that watching Little Ruru? I think at one time you had mentioned, even though you're not listed as a breeder or a co-breeder, that you did have some part in the breeding of him as well, Michael.
Yeah, I did. Yep, and it was it was a wonderful feeling. I had him since he was born. I foaled him and raised him up from day one. He's been a good horse to me. He kind of tailed off a little bit, but he's starting to peak around, come back around now. I don't believe he wants to sprint anymore. One time he was sprint, but I think he just wants to kind of just relax and run a little longer now. But he's coming back to himself. He's coming back around.
No, that's good to hear. And you talked about breeding aspect in general. Of course, now, West Virginia, the 2-year-olds have started up. There is basically another, I believe, 1.5 million that was added to the West Virginia Breeders Program to kind of help incentivize, owners, trainers, breeders to breed more horses in West Virginia. Anything on the horizon for you as far as the 2-year-olds, and how impactful do you think that added money in the West Virginia program will be, for you and your owners moving forward?
Yeah, I have 9 2-year-olds this year. A few of them look like they're going to be pretty decent horses, nice horses. I'm bringing them along kind of slow, but they'll be ready here next 60 days or so. A few of them, and I really think that program that we come out with the West Virginia Razor program they have, and the money we got is going to help our industry a lot. The program, because we need more horses, more West Virginia breds to run and keep the program going. I have 7 yearlings for next year, so hopefully get lucky.
Right. Most of them homebred, Mike, or do some of your owners go and look to grab a few at some of the sales in the area?
Well, I have 7 homebreds. Then a few of my owners, we grabbed a few out of sale that were put in the program, and a few more of my owners, he bred maybe 15 or 16 West Virginia breds, going to fold them in West Virginia. So just get more involved in the program, and like I said, hopefully we can get lucky.
Right. Yeah, you just hope for that next Little Ruru to come along, every once in a while.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
There's a lot of the trainers up there, Mike, kind of stay close to home throughout the year. They'll run, 85, 90% of the horses at Charlestown, but you're not afraid to ship. I've seen, obviously, you run horses at Mountaineer, Colonial, the Maryland tracks. I believe you've sent the horses to Delaware as well. What's it like? How much time do you spend looking at the various condition books, and what's it like knowing that you to make it with some of the horses, you're just going to have to ship to some other tracks?
Well, I spend a lot of time looking for races, trying to find a good spot for horses, conditions to fit them, and like this time of year, turf season open. Obviously, have several horses that really like the turf, so Colonial. And we try to go to Colonial and run. Anywhere a race fits and the horse has a shot, I try to get there. And owners, they want to they like to take the horses and give them a shot on the grass too. Even if it's not the grass, some horses don't all fit, Charlestown is the surface, the bull ring. So we have stalls at Colonial, a few stalls in Mountaineer, and then we'll ship to other places. It's just where they fit at. We'll just
Yeah, and you've had success at those tracks as well. I saw one ran second the other night at Mountaineer, correct? And then you've picked off a few races at some of the other tracks, Colonial as well.
Yeah, well, hopefully we have a few running Colonial this week. Hopefully they run good, and it's going to be hot, so hopefully the horses heat doesn't bother them too much. But I think the horses have a shot.
Yeah, talk about what it's like for you as a trainer, making sure that the horses can battle the elements without too many ill effects. Any extra precautions you and the other trainers take this time of year just to make sure the horses don't have any ill effects from the heat?
Yeah, well, you got to make sure they stay hydrated, proper hydration, keep electrolytes in them, have a electrolyte jug hung on them, and just keep them hydrated. And this heat can be really dangerous for them. A lot of times you see if they don't like the heat and don't take to, you see it in the training in the morning time. Some of them really don't do well in the heat. So kind of got an idea which ones you can run, and some of them you have to just back off of them.
You're listening to trainer Mike Jones Jr. on Midlantic Racing
a lot
Today.
of trainers, you have other aspects of the operation too, hot walkers, grooms, other assistants. How important are those people for you, Mike, in terms of making sure that the operation runs cleanly and successfully, throughout the year, as far as when you have horses to ship to other tracks, or you have horses that have to be ready on when you might have a handful of horses in on a given night at Charlestown. How important is having that quality and quantity help around the barn every day?
Very, very important to keep the operation going, and the consistency of your help, reflects on you. So you have to have a good team, have a decent team, good grooms, hot walkers, exercise riders. Everybody plays their part, and just every day it seems like you got to be well greased, or just got to keep on, keep moving, because anytime we might have 2 or 3 running somewhere, and everybody has to be ready, be on point, just be ready to go, because it's tough, one person might miss, so everybody has to step up. You never know what the next day brings.
Yeah, and Mike, is there an ideal number of horses that you like to have in the barn every given week? I mean, I imagine the more the merrier if you can handle them. But barns, when you have claimers, and the numbers tend to fluctuate a little bit from week to week. But ideally for you, is there an ideal number of horses that you like keeping in the barn, or are you just always looking to fill a stall here and there?
I'm always looking for something, a horse to claim that will fit the condition book, and that's here, Charlestown, wherever I'm stable at. But I usually keep around 40 horses in a barn, give or take. And you just look to just keep around that number, around 40 head in a barn. So that's where we're usually at for the year.
No, it's good. It's a good number to have. I mean, it keeps you on your toes. And then, if you're in the claiming game, obviously, you're going to claim some, and you're going to have some claim from you, right? I mean, that's just the aspect. That's just the whole aspect of the game.
Yes, where it goes.
What's it been like though with having the success you've had in the state bred races, not just with Little Ruru, but some of the other quality runners you've had over the years, and knowing that you're like most of the trainers up there, you're targeting horses for the stakes, and of course West Virginia Breeders' Classics, which is basically Charlestown's version of the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, every day you look for something. Somebody slips through and has one you can try to claim and fight for one of those races. But here, it's not been much here lately. Like I said, it's West Virginia. The number's down right now on West Virginia breds. But just hope one of these young ones will be the next one, and getting those spots, and come big night, just show up,
Mhm.
and run a big race for you, get lucky and win.
Yeah, obviously a lot of luck involved in it. Talk about the season that you've had, already 27 winners. I know in the past you've come close to hitting 80 winners in a single season, I think, Mike. A number of times the barn's earned over $1 million, which is very commendable. Are there like statistical targets that you look to set every year for the barn as a whole, or just kind of play it by ear and hope you get some lucky breaks along the way, and pick up a few more wins than you might have expected?
Yeah, I like to at least have around 70 wins. I love to reach 100 wins for the year. It's been a little slow this year, but hopefully it'll pick up here soon. The horse is starting to go in the right direction and starting to find some better spots for him, and be a little more aggressive with a few of them, and hopefully things start to turn around.
Yeah, and the other number that is pretty impressive, Mike. I mean, 4 years in a row running going into this year, your barn has eclipsed the $1 million mark in seasonal earnings, and certainly well on pace to eclipse that number again. How important is that? Not just financially for you, but knowing that there's prospective owners out there that look at what the horse could potentially earn, when they send them to various trainers, and they see that you're routinely clicking off $1 million each year, for your barn. How important is that for you, that milestone?
It's very important to try to stay consistent, stay above that, around that mark, that average, to keep we're right there, and hopefully we'll move up, and the next year look to get better every year, and win more races, and hopefully get a few more clients that that send us some horses, where we can just keep on winning races, and find good spots for them. Like I was telling you before, just it's all about the spots. And you got to have the horse, and horse that horse only wins so many races. Conditions, and
Right.
it just gets tougher and tougher. So, and it gets tougher, every year. More people ship in to run, and the money's good at Charlestown also. So people come in and ship, and it gets harder. So to stay at that level, and my barn's been pretty consistent.
And Mike, obviously, I don't think you have one in the stakes this weekend, but are you planning to have something? I noticed you do have something in on the card Saturday, but next weekend is the Sylvia Bishop Memorial, and anything that race or on the card that night? I know that's going to be a big night for you up there.
Unfortunately, I don't have anything for that race that will be competitive this year.
Okay.
But I'll have hopefully I'll have a few running that night. So, and hopefully I can win a race on that card. I like
Yeah, I know I've interviewed
that
you on
race.
that.
Be nice to win it.
Right. Yeah. I hadn't seen the noms come out yet, so I wasn't sure if there was anything you were targeting for that race. But I know that's an emotional night for you and the family.
Yes, sure is.
Having Sylvia Bishop Memorial, and obviously she meant a lot to you, and she meant a lot to a lot of people at Charlestown over the years. And
Yes.
glad to see the race namesake. I'm sure it's one you'd like to click off one year, but yeah, there's other races on the card that if you win one, yeah, it would have a lot of emotional impact for you and the family, knowing you could be there and win a race on the night that they're honoring, Sylvia Bishop.
It sure would. Hopefully one day I have one that can win that race. It mean really a lot to me.
All right, Mike. Hey, I think we're good. Unless there's anything else you want to share regarding, the future for your barn, or anything else and among the owners you want to commend, for being faithful to you over the years. But I think I really appreciate the feedback on all the horses that we've talked about to this point.
Yes, my owners have been stuck with me through thick and thin. It's been a tough game. Top Notch Racing, Martin Shaw, CM Racing, Brandon Helmington, and Arcofa Racing. Been a few years. And I have a new owner, Rob Prue. He's a good owner. He's very active in the claim game, and yeah, he's a nice owner too. All of them been good owners.
No, you need that support. You need guys that are going to have faith in your ability to, get in and make the right claims, and see those horses either climb through the claiming ranks or work their way into allowance and stakes conditions. But yeah, no, a number of horses have done well since you've claimed in. Of course, I'm sure a lot of happy clients if you're constantly getting a few more new ones along the way, Michael.
Sure is, yeah. Everybody seems to be having fun with the game right now. So
let me jump in for 1 sec.
Yeah.
Mike, I had a question for you. Your grandmother obviously was Sylvia Bishop. She was the first black female licensed thoroughbred trainer, which is a pretty remarkable sort of family legacy to carry. But she must have lived through some stuff to get there. There must have been a lot of challenges along the way. And I'm curious as to did she sort of protect you from that side of things, or did she talk with you about that side of things?
No, she talked to me about it. She told me it was hard, especially being a black woman and a horse trainer.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of challenges she had to overcome, to do what she loved doing.
I mean, how did that impact you hearing those sorts of stories?
It impacted me. I just knew one day I just wanted to carry on her legacy and just win races and just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Everything clicks in the back of my head she ever told me, and I always keep it there. And I just know what I do. I learned a lot from her, and I just want to keep all that in mind and just represent and win races.
Yeah.
I mean, she had to overcome a lot just for me to be where I'm at, because it was hard.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, you're one of the guys who's, in that top tier of starters, each year the last few years at Charlestown. That's a long way from the struggles she must have had to endure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, she only ran. Right, smaller barn and outfit, but I have a large outfit. I carry along, and I couldn't imagine what she had to go through.
Yeah.
Just with a few horses she had.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And at that time, it was tough.
Yeah. No, I remember there was a book about her a few years ago. Vicky Moon wrote it, maybe?
Yep, Vicky Moon.
And she talked with Carlin Tapscott, who's now passed on, but who was another black woman who's a trainer in Maryland. And
right.
She talked about how hard it was and how she thought in some ways it was harder being a woman than being a black person in terms of getting owners and sort of getting respect. And but it's a tough deal, and you have to admire the sort of persistence that and the commitment that people have to soldier through in the face of that.
Yeah.
Ted, that's got me. I wanted to raise those questions. I appreciate it, Mike.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
All right, thanks, Michael. I appreciate the feedback, and Look forward to seeing you Saturday night at the track.
You're welcome. I'll see you Saturday night.
Now, Frank Vespi and Ted Black discuss the upcoming Robert G. Levitt Stakes at Charlestown Races here on Midlantic Racing Today.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Levitt a little bit here. It looks like maybe Runco's got him over a barrel a little bit. What do you think?
Wow. I know Jeff is in Kentucky with Rame this week, looking at yearlings is what he told me. But he did say he would be back for the stake. I didn't think he was going to enter both of them, but wow, Ryan's run, 3 for 3 and win a stake race, 2 starts back, and then, broke the 51-second barrier last time out. Looks like he could be any kind. And, him and both Jeff and Boca have just raved about what he's done through the first 3 starts of this career. They've all been 4.5, so he's got to try 2 turns for the first time if he goes in there. Then Penguin's Pride is, the one that he trains for David Rame and won first time out pretty impressively, and then stretched out and won second time out pretty impressive. So I assume both are going to run. Even though Jeff doesn't like to run typically one of his homebreds against another owner, so but I could see scenarios where both of them run, or if one of them backs out, it would probably be his own, since Ryan's run hasn't run 2 turns yet and had the far more recent race of the 2. So I think Penguin's Pride is definitely going to go. But yeah, if they're both in there, wow, that they could very seriously be 1-2 in the Levitt on Saturday.
Well, I would think, I don't know if he said this to you, but I would think you've got to be thinking with those 2 horses. I mean, Ryan's run's gotten 80 plus buyers. His last 2 starts going 4.5. The other horse, Penguin's Pride, has gotten mid-70s in both of them and won both easily. I would think if one of them wins this race, you've got to be thinking about the Hilton. And if you're thinking about the Hilton, you probably run them both, right? And you see who's better 2 turns, because we don't know about Ryan's run going 2 turns.
Right. Yeah, he's the only that's the only question mark regarding him at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, the ability certainly is there. The 4.5 furlong races have been giant, all 3 of them. And of course, Penguin's Pride did show second time out that he could get 2 turns without any serious problem whatsoever. So yeah, I'm along the same lines as you. I think if they both run this weekend in the Levitt, then if one of them runs lights out, then that one is probably looking at the Hilton. If they both run extremely well, they could both go into Hilton. So I think this is a good test for both of them in regards to the 7 furlongs and seeing what kind of number they can put up, and whether or not one or both really could step forward and try the Hilton, going for $500,000 in next month. But yeah, either way, it does look like an ideal setup race for one, if not both of them.
What do you make of Trixer for Juba? He had that one just giant race in the Mascarelli last year and hasn't been quite as good since.
Yeah, no, I think his return race this year was pretty good, but I don't know. I thought probably he would be better going 2 turns, and I'm guessing Ronnie probably thinks he's going to be better going 2 turns, and he wants to find out a little more in the Levitt this weekend. He's okay, right? I mean, he's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the first start back was really good. So yeah, well, I guess we'll find out a little bit more, this weekend in the Levitt, but hasn't always put 2 really great races back to back in his career. So that's really the only knock. You're just trying to find out which Trixer for Juba is going to show up. I mean, he may run lights out this weekend. So
right. Right.
But quality. Not a big field, but obviously a quality group on Saturday. Ferry has got two in there that both have ability, and you already mentioned Trixie for Juba, and then of course Runco's two, and the app.
I have an app for that for Anthony.
Yeah, I have an app. Yeah, that horse has some ability. So, we'll see. I mean, it really shapes up to be a good race as far as the quality of the field goes, and really intrigued to see if Jeff does nail down both of them for the race, because I'm sure at some point, he just has to find out how Ryan's run is going to transition from 4.5 to 2 turns, right? This looks like the ideal. Yeah, right. He's got to find out, and if so, like you mentioned, are him and Penguin's Pride both good enough to go into Hilton? That race may not be graded, but for $500,000, we've seen the quality of horses that comes in here for that race. Ben Tornado got beat in that race a couple years ago, right? And he since won a Breeders' Cup Sprint, and then of course the Barbadian Runner, run a huge race last year. And come back and win Maryland Maine Classic, and just a tremendous horse for Henry Walters. So you put up $500,000 and you're going to get guys shipping in from out of town. I'm sure Safi's going to have something in there, probably somebody that's got horses in the Oaks and Charlestown Classic is going to bring one that's going to fit in there. So it's going to be a tremendous race, and I imagine we're still 5 weeks out from that night, Frank. So I can see Penguin's Pride being in there. I imagine if Jeff thinks that this race for Ryan's run is a little bit too close to that 4.5 race that he just ran a couple weeks ago, maybe he's going to try to find a 2-turn allowance race between now and the Hilton to see if he can set him up for that. But either way, he's got to find out, right? He's got to find out if 7 is going to be right up his alley, and how much more he's got to do to get him ready for a 7/8 race beyond this point.
I feel like nobody's better up there than Ronco is at getting horses to stretch out, though. So often his horses, when he adds distance, they run well. The question, of course, is that in his scope? Like Duncan Idaho's not a 2-turn horse; he's a 1-turn horse. And this could be, or it could not be. So, but I agree with you. We got to find out, and this is probably the spot to go ahead and find out. And then you kind of see where you are from there. I don't know if you've had, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think he will. My gut feeling is he will run both. Like I said, knowing Jeff from over the years, he doesn't like to run one of his homebreds against another one of his clients if he can avoid it. But, in a stake race, I'm sure he's looking at saying, hey, if they both run well, we're both going into Hilton, to run for the big money. So, I suspect both will be in there. But if both are not in there, my gut feeling is Ryan's run is the one that he opts out with.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It should be a fun race. The other thing I want to touch base with you on, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it, but the race before the stake is an allowance for fillies and mares, and you got a couple horses that have talent but got some questions to answer. You got last year's West Virginia Lottery Breeders' Classic winner, Zip Start, and you got Petty Perfect, who won last year's Cavada. Neither of them has been all that great since those big victories. And Petty Perfect ran pretty well in the My Sister Pearl, but then hasn't done a lot this year, and Zip Start hasn't done a lot this year. Some questions to answer, but an interesting group of horses.
Yeah, a nice group of allowance, and I think that was a state-bred filly mare race as well. So again, those horses, I'd imagine, like you pointed out, just similar case with Trixie for Juba, right? Just hasn't been, this group in general just hasn't really been particularly consistent. I think Christy always finds a way to have them ready for the Cavada, though, right? I mean,
it's been her property the last few years.
Right. It's, so, I mean, even Hessica at times looked like she was not firing her best shot, all summer. And then come the fall, she had her ready for the Cavada, and then Petty Perfect again, was really good last fall. Hasn't reached that peak again this year, but I imagine, and the same with Zip Start, between this allowance race on Saturday night and then, of course, on Charlestown Classic night, they're almost guaranteed to go in the Sadie Hawkins, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't foresee any of the West Virginia bred fillies or mares this year among the older group anyway, trying the pink ribbon. It just looks like
usually
it's a little beyond their scope.
Yeah.
Right. That's just a little beyond the scope of this group. I mean, of course, there's one out there that might try the Charlestown Oaks at some point. We'll see her next weekend. But of this group, again, Frank, I mean, you're just trying to see which one will show up. I mean, I don't have any doubts. Zip Start and Petty Perfect will be ready to fire the best shot on Cavada night. But for this allowance and for the Sadie Hawkins, you just don't know. I mean, you just have to proceed with caution if you're backing either of the horses. But one thing's for sure, like you mentioned with Jeff, he knows how to have them ready for the big races. Christy Petty knows how to have the mares ready for the Cavada. So you can't knock them too soon. So interesting race. I mean, it's actually a tremendous card if you look at it from top to bottom. I think
it's a really nice card. Yeah.
6 allowance races prior to the stake race. So now looking forward to the entire card. And there's, I believe, a West Virginia bred allowance race prior to the Philly Mare race. So there's some nice races. And again, you're looking at horses that are going to be eyeing Charlestown Classic night for various stakes races. And then, of course, certainly eyeing Breeders' Classics beyond that.
Yeah. No, it's a fun card. Going to tell us some things that we can hopefully use to our advantage down the road a piece about who some of these horses are. Anything else you're keeping an eye on out at Charlestown these days?
Well, I think we had mentioned it. Speaking of Jeff, we mentioned it back at the start of the year and talked to him about it and a couple other prospective people around the track. Jeff eyeing 5,000 career wins, which would be a tremendous milestone. At this point, it looks like he's not quite on target to get it this year. Certainly if his barn heats up, he could. I think statistically, he's a little behind the pace number that you would expect him to need to hit it by December. But, certainly looks like it's something that's going to happen in January of 2027. So other than that, I don't really think there was any other milestones that we could talk about coming up. But I mean, certainly a lot of good races on the card. The 2-year-olds got underway last weekend, and there's more of those races in the book, not this weekend, but next weekend. And of course, the 2-year-old stakes start on September, I believe. So.
Okay. All right. Well, that all sounds good. Ronnie Brown maintaining a lead in the trainer standings, Boca in the rider standings, but still a little bit closer than we're used to with Santaella giving chase there. He's about, I think, 10 behind right now.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. As long as Ronnie Brown is winning races, Moises Santaella is going to be right in the winner's circle with him. And of course, and he does use Dennis Arujo quite a bit too. So, whereas Boca, he's going to get most of his wins through Jeff. So yeah, it's not over yet. I think earlier in the year, Santaella was ahead of him, correct? But like,
He actually did
March,
lead for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, so not a done deal yet, but a little more interesting than you might expect at this time of the year. It's Boca's not running away with it like he has in years past, but and that's a lot of that because of Ronnie Brown. I mean, Ronnie Brown being leading trainer and owner again this year, and Moises has been the hot hand, and even after he lost his bug, Ronnie was not about to make any changes.
Yeah, it's interesting that he's stuck with him even after he lost the bug. So that's a good sign for the kid. Thanks to Ted Black, thanks to trainer Mike Jones Jr., and thanks most of all to you for watching, listening, and we hope liking and subscribing to Midlantic Racing Today. Midlantic Racing Today is powered by the Racing Biz, the racingbiz.com. And this episode, Charlestown Races Today, presented by our friends at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. Midlantic Racing Today going to be back at you tomorrow with another episode. Tomorrow's episode going to focus on Delaware Park trainer Ted Mayer. He's got an interesting story you'll hear about. He is a lawyer / horse trainer with an interesting backstory. It's a fun conversation. You're not going to want to miss it. And then we'll be back next week with new episodes, including a new episode of Charlestown Races Today. My name's Frank Vespi. Thanks again for watching, listening, liking, and subscribing to Midlantic Racing Today, powered by the Racing Biz, the racingbiz.com. We'll see you tomorrow with another episode. Thanks, everybody.